Welcome to Real Daily Talks, where simple English becomes real speaking.
I'm Jack. Hello, and thanks for listening today.
And I'm Emma. We're here to help you learn English through natural conversation.
Today, we're talking about something very important. We're going to teach you how to talk about your job interview in English.
Yes, this is such a useful topic. Maybe you had a job interview yesterday, or maybe you have one next week. You need to tell your friends or family about it. How do you explain it in English? We'll show you today.
And if you enjoy this lesson, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us continue making these videos for you.
Exactly. Okay, are you ready, Jack?
I'm ready.
Then let's get started.
So, Emma, how are you today?
I'm actually really good today, Jack. I had a relaxing weekend and I feel energized. How about you?
I'm a bit tired, to be honest. I stayed up late on Sunday night watching a TV show.
Oh no, which show?
It was a detective series. I kept saying, just one more episode, but then I watched 5 more episodes.
That always happens. I do the same thing. What did you do on Saturday?
On Saturday, I met my friend for coffee. We talked for 3 hours. It was really nice. We talked about everything: work, family, our plans for the future.
That sounds lovely. I love those long conversations with friends.
Me too. What about you? What did you do this weekend?
Well, actually, I helped my younger sister prepare for a job interview. She has an interview this Wednesday.
Oh, really? That's perfect timing for today's topic then.
I know, right? Speaking of job interviews, we should start talking about this topic because there's so much to cover.
Yes, let's do it.
So, Jack, have you ever had a job interview?
Of course. I've had several job interviews in my life. Some were good, some were not so good.
I think everyone has that experience. Tell me about your last job interview. When was it?
My last job interview was about 2 years ago. It was for a marketing position at a tech company.
Interesting. How did you prepare for it?
Well, first, I researched the company. I looked at their website and read about their products and their company culture.
That's very important. You need to know about the company before you go to the interview.
Exactly. Then I prepared answers to common interview questions. You know, like, tell me about yourself, or what are your strengths and weaknesses?
Those are classic questions. Did you practice your answers?
Yes, I practiced in front of the mirror. I felt a bit silly talking to myself, but it helped.
I do that too. It's not silly at all. It's a good way to prepare. What did you wear to the interview?
I wore a dark blue suit with a white shirt and a tie. I wanted to look professional.
Good choice. First impressions are so important. What happened when you arrived at the company?
I arrived 15 minutes early. I didn't want to be late. The receptionist was very friendly. She asked me to sit in the waiting area and offered me water.
Were you nervous?
Very nervous. My hands were shaking a little bit. I tried to stay calm by taking deep breaths.
That's normal. Everyone feels nervous before an interview. Then what happened?
After about 5 minutes, the interviewer came to meet me. His name was David. He shook my hand and led me to the meeting room.
How did the interview start?
It started with small talk. David asked me about my journey to the office and if I had any trouble finding the building. It was a nice, relaxed beginning.
That's good. Small talk helps you relax. What questions did he ask?
The first real question was, tell me about yourself. I talked about my education, my previous work experience, and why I'm interested in marketing.
How long did you talk?
About 2 or 3 minutes. I didn't want to talk too long or too little.
That's the right length. What was the next question?
He asked, why do you want to work for our company? That's when I used all the research I did. I talked about their innovative products and their positive work environment.
Very smart. Did he seem impressed?
I think so. He nodded and smiled. Then he asked me about my strengths.
What did you say?
I said my biggest strength is creativity. I gave examples of creative marketing campaigns I worked on in my previous job.
Good. You gave specific examples. That's important. Did he ask about weaknesses too?
Yes, he did. That's a difficult question.
What does weakness mean, Jack?
A weakness is something you're not good at or something you need to improve, the opposite of a strength.
Right. So what weakness did you mention?
I said that sometimes I focus too much on details and spend too much time on small things. But then I explained that I'm working on managing my time better.
That's a smart answer. You showed the weakness, but also showed you're trying to improve. What other questions did he ask?
He asked, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" That's another common question.
I don't like that question. It's hard to predict the future.
I know, but I answered that I see myself in a senior marketing role, leading campaigns and maybe managing a small team.
That sounds ambitious. Did he ask you any difficult questions?
Yes, he did. He asked, "Tell me about a time when you failed at something." That was challenging.
Oh, I hate that question. What did you say?
I talked about a marketing campaign that didn't perform well. I explained what went wrong, what I learned from it, and how I applied those lessons to future projects.
That's perfect. You showed that you can learn from mistakes. How long did the whole interview last?
It lasted about 45 minutes. After the questions, David asked if I had any questions for him.
Did you ask questions?
Yes, I asked about the team I would work with, the company's goals for the next year, and opportunities for professional development.
Those are excellent questions. It shows you're really interested in the job. How did the interview end?
David thanked me for coming. He explained the next steps in the hiring process. He said they would contact me within 1 week.
And then what happened?
I shook his hand, thanked him for his time, and left. When I got home, I sent a thank you email.
Wait, you sent an email after the interview?
Yes, it's polite to send a thank you email after an interview. I thanked him for the opportunity and said I was excited about the position.
That's a great tip for our viewers. Always send a thank you email after an interview. So, did you get the job?
Actually, no. They called me after 1 week and said they chose another candidate. But they gave me positive feedback and said I interviewed very well.
Oh, I'm sorry you didn't get it, but the feedback is good.
It's okay. I was disappointed at first, but I learned a lot from that experience. And a few months later, I found an even better job.
That's wonderful. See, sometimes rejection leads to something better.
Exactly. What about you, Emma? Tell me about one of your interviews.
Well, I'll tell you about an interview I had 3 years ago. It was for a teaching position at a language school.
How did you hear about the job?
I saw the job advertisement online on a job website. I read the job description and thought it was perfect for me, so I submitted my application. I sent my resume and a cover letter by email.
What's a resume?
A resume is a document that lists your education, work experience, and skills. Some people call it a CV, which means curriculum vitae.
Oh, I see. And a cover letter?
A cover letter is a letter that you send with your resume. In it, you explain why you want the job and why you're a good fit for the position.
Got it. So after you sent those documents, what happened?
2 days later, I received an email from the school. They invited me to come for an interview the following week.
How did you feel?
I was excited, but also nervous. I really wanted this job, so I started preparing immediately.
What did you do to prepare?
I did many things. First, I visited the school's website and learned about their teaching methods and their values.
Smart.
Then I prepared a sample lesson. Many teaching interviews ask you to teach a short lesson to show your teaching style.
Oh, that's interesting. So you had to prepare a lesson.
Yes, I chose to teach a lesson about describing people's appearance. I made handouts and prepared some fun activities.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It was, but I wanted to impress them. I also thought about possible interview questions and practiced my answers with my roommate.
Your roommate helped you.
Yes, she pretended to be the interviewer and asked me questions. It was very helpful.
That's a great idea. What did you wear to the interview?
I wore a professional dress with a blazer and low heels. I wanted to look professional, but also comfortable because I had to teach a lesson.
Good thinking. So tell me about the interview day. What time was it?
The interview was at 10 o'clock in the morning. I arrived at 9:45, 15 minutes early, just like you.
Early is always better than late.
Absolutely. When I arrived, the receptionist checked my name and asked me to wait. I was so nervous that I read the same magazine page 3 times.
I understand that feeling. Then what happened?
At exactly 10 o'clock, 2 people came to meet me. One was the director of the school, and the other was the head teacher.
2 interviewers. That sounds stressful.
It was a bit intimidating at first, but they were both very friendly. They introduced themselves, and we went to a small office.
How did the interview begin?
They asked me to tell them about my teaching background. I talked about my teaching degree and my experience teaching English in different countries.
What countries did you teach in?
I taught in Spain for 1 year and in Thailand for 6 months. Those experiences gave me a lot to talk about in the interview.
That's impressive. What else did they ask?
They asked about my teaching philosophy. That means, what do I believe about teaching? How do I think students learn best?
That's a deep question. What did you say?
I said that I believe students learn best when they feel comfortable making mistakes and when lessons are interactive and fun.
I agree with that. Did they ask you to teach your sample lesson?
Yes. After about 20 minutes of questions, they asked me to teach a 10-minute lesson. They pretended to be students.
Oh, wow. How did that feel?
It felt strange at first. They were sitting there watching me very carefully. But after 1 minute, I forgot about my nerves and just focused on teaching.
What did you teach about?
I taught vocabulary about physical appearance, words like tall, short, curly hair, straight hair. I made them do a fun activity where they described their ideal superhero.
That sounds like a fun activity.
It was. They both participated and seemed to enjoy it. After the lesson, they gave me feedback. They said my lesson was well organized and engaging. That made me feel relieved. Then we talked for a bit more. They asked about my availability and when I could start working.
That's a good sign. It means they were interested.
Yes, I thought so too. They also asked about my salary expectations.
That's always an awkward question. What did you say?
I had researched the average salary for teachers in that area, so I gave them a reasonable range. I said I was flexible and wanted to discuss it further.
Good answer. How did the interview end?
They told me they would make a decision within 3 days. We shook hands, I thanked them, and I left.
And then? Don't keep me in suspense.
The next day, yes, just 1 day later, they called me. They offered me the job.
Congratulations. You must have been so happy.
I was thrilled. I accepted the job immediately. I worked at that school for 2 years, and it was a wonderful experience.
That's a great success story. So we both have very different interview stories. I didn't get my job, and you got yours the next day.
Yes, but both experiences taught us a lot, and that's what we want to share with our viewers today, how to talk about these experiences in English.
Right. Whether your interview went well or badly, you need to know how to describe it to other people.
You know, Jack, while we were talking, we used many useful words and phrases. Let's go through some of the most important vocabulary.
Good idea. Our viewers can learn these words and use them when they talk about their own interviews.
First word, job interview. This is a formal meeting where an employer asks you questions to decide if you are suitable for a job.
For example, I have a job interview tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Or, my job interview went really well. I think I'll get the job.
You usually feel most nervous before or during the job interview?
Definitely before. Once it starts, I feel calmer. What about you?
Same. The waiting is the worst part.
Next word, resume, or CV. This is the document that lists your education, work experience, and skills. In American English, we say resume. In British English, people often say CV.
For example, I need to update my resume before I apply for jobs.
Or, please send your resume to our email address.
I always forget to update my resume. Is yours current, Emma?
Not really. I should update it soon. Third word, candidate. A candidate is a person who applies for a job. The company chooses from several candidates.
For example, there were 5 candidates for the position.
Or, they chose another candidate for the job.
This word can also be used in elections. A person who wants to be elected is also called a candidate.
That's right. Good point, Jack. Fourth phrase, Prepare for. This means to get ready for something. You do things in advance so you will be ready.
For example, I prepared for my interview by researching the company.
Or, she spent 3 days preparing for her presentation.
How do you usually prepare for important events, Emma?
I make lists. I write down everything I need to do. It helps me feel organized.
I'm not good at preparation. I usually do everything at the last minute.
A fifth word, nervous. This means worried or anxious about something. You feel uncomfortable because you don't know what will happen.
For example, I felt nervous before my driving test.
Or, she's always nervous when she speaks in public.
The opposite of nervous is calm or relaxed.
Yes, and when you're very nervous, you can say you're very nervous or really nervous or even extremely nervous.
What makes you most nervous, Emma?
Speaking in front of large groups. What about you?
Job interviews, definitely.
Sixth word, strength. A strength is something you're good at. It's a skill or quality that helps you succeed.
For example, one of my strengths is communication. I'm good at explaining things clearly.
Or, her greatest strength is organization. She plans everything perfectly.
The plural is strengths, and the opposite is weakness.
Right. In job interviews, they often ask, what are your strengths and weaknesses?
What's your greatest strength, Emma?
I think it's patience. I don't give up easily. What's yours?
Maybe creativity. I like thinking of new ideas.
Seventh word, weakness. This is something you're not good at or something you need to improve.
For example, my weakness is public speaking. I get very nervous.
Or, one weakness I have is time management. Sometimes I'm late.
When you talk about weaknesses in an interview, it's good to also mention how you're trying to improve.
Exactly. Don't just say the weakness. Say what you're doing about it. Eighth phrase, hire or get hired. To hire someone means to give them a job. To get hired means to be chosen for a job.
For example, the company hired 10 new employees last month.
Or, I hope I get hired. I really need this job.
The opposite is fire or get fired. That means to lose your job because the company doesn't want you anymore.
Yes, but let's hope that doesn't happen to anyone. Ninth word, feedback. Feedback is comments or opinions about how well you did something. It helps you know what was good and what you can improve.
For example, the interviewer gave me positive feedback about my presentation.
Or, I always ask for feedback after an interview so I can improve.
Feedback can be positive or negative. Positive feedback means good comments. Negative feedback means critical comments.
Right. Both types are useful for learning. 10th phrase, follow up. This means to contact someone again after a meeting or conversation to get more information or show continued interest.
For example, I followed up with an email 2 days after my interview.
Or, if you don't hear from them in 1 week, you should follow up with a phone call.
Following up shows you're really interested in the job. It's professional and polite.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to follow up. Okay, let's quickly review all the vocabulary we learned. First, job interview, a formal meeting with an employer. Second, resume or CV, your work and education document. Third, candidate, a person applying for a job. Fourth, prepare for, to get ready for something. Fifth, nervous, feeling worried or anxious about something. Sixth, strength, something you're good at. Seventh, weakness, something you need to improve. Eighth, hire, to give someone a job. Ninth, feedback, comments about your performance. And 10th, follow up, to contact someone again.
That's a lot of useful vocabulary.
Okay, Jack, that was a lot of talking about job interviews.
I know. We covered so much. I hope our viewers aren't overwhelmed.
Don't worry, everyone. It's actually quite simple when we break it down. Let's think about what we learned today.
Good idea. Let's organize it.
First, we learned how to talk about preparing for an interview. We use phrases like, I researched the company, I prepared answers to common questions, and I practiced in front of the mirror. This is the before interview stage.
Right. And we talked about what to wear. You can say, I wore a suit, or I wore professional clothes, or I dressed formally.
Then we talked about arriving at the interview. You can say, I arrived 15 minutes early, the receptionist greeted me, and I waited in the reception area. You can also mention how you felt. I felt nervous, or my hands were shaking, or I tried to stay calm.
After that, we covered how the interview started. We used phrases like, the interviewer introduced himself, we shook hands, and the interview began with small talk.
Then comes the main part, the interview questions. We learned how to talk about common questions like, tell me about yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? And why do you want this job? You can say, they asked me about, or the interviewer wanted to know.
We also learned how to describe how the interview ended. You can say, the interview lasted 45 minutes. They explained the next steps, and I thanked them for their time. And don't forget, I sent a thank you email afterward.
Finally, we learned how to talk about the result. You can say, they offered me the job. I got hired. They chose another candidate. Or, I didn't get the position, but I learned a lot.
See? When we organize it like that, it's not so complicated.
Not at all. You just need to follow the chronological order before, during, and after the interview. Then add your feelings and specific details.
And remember to use past tense because you're talking about something that already happened.
Exactly. Now you can talk confidently about your job interview experiences in English.
Now we want to hear from you. This is our favorite part.
Yes, we love reading your comments and learning about your experiences.
Our question of the day is, what was your most memorable job interview experience? Why was it memorable?
Let me answer first. My most memorable interview was the one I told you about today, the teaching job interview. It was memorable because I had to teach a lesson during the interview. I had never done that before, and it was challenging but exciting.
That's a good one. For me, my most memorable interview was actually a really bad one. I arrived late because my car broke down. I was sweating and stressed, but the interviewer was very understanding. I didn't get the job, but I learned to always have a backup plan for transportation.
Oh no, but that's a good lesson.
See? We have different answers, one positive and one negative, and that's okay. Every experience teaches us something.
So, viewers, we want to know about you. What was your most memorable job interview? Was it good or bad? What happened? What did you learn from it?
Please tell us in the comments. You can write something like, my most memorable interview was when, or I remember one interview where, or the worst interview I had was...
Writing in English is great practice, and it helps us understand what topics you're interested in so we can make better videos for you.
We read all the comments, so please share your stories. We're excited to hear from you.
Thank you so much for watching today's lesson.
We hope you learned a lot about how to talk about job interviews in English.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow.
And don't forget to subscribe to
Real Daily Talks.
and click the little bell icon.
That way, you'll get a notification every time we upload a new video. You won't miss any lessons.
You are all fantastic students. We're so proud of you for improving your English every day.
Keep practicing, keep learning, and remember, making mistakes is part of learning. Don't be afraid to speak and write in English.
Every conversation is practice. Every comment you write helps you improve.
We believe in you.
Have a wonderful day, evening, and night wherever you are in the world.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.